Hi, my name is Dr. Roxanne George, and I am your host for the Radiant Health Dialogue series on breast cancer on HippocratesDocs.com in collaboration with PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Today we have a fantastic guest I'm so excited for. She is a health coach. Her name is Dr. Brenda Bradley, and she's here with us today. Hi, Dr. Bradley. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing great. I'm great. Thanks so much for having me here.
Thanks for spending this time with us today. So I love this topic, of course. So we want to introduce our plant-based eating and lifestyle changes to our viewers today. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then also how you started on this journey.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Brenda Bradley. I am a certified integrative nutrition health coach. And I must tell you that I haven't always been. This total lifestyle change for me is the reason why I do what I do today. So I am a health coach, as I mentioned, and I started, I have had a remarkable life. Let me just tell you all that right now. I've had a remarkable life that has had many twists and turns, from being a U.S. service member in the Air Force to a certified health coach today. One of the things that I will tell you all is that there is a common denominator between what I used to do and even what I do today, and that is my mission and my passion to serve others. So with everything that has been going on with myself, which means that I faced some health challenges several years ago, I've just been so intrigued with what I had learned and what's been going on with me that caused me to just switch courses and take the road less traveled, and that is to become a health coach. Because of the things that have happened to me, I certainly don't want them to happen to anyone else, but if it should, I want to be one of the people that people are able to come to and feel comfortable with coming to help them with their health challenges. So that's what got me started on this beautiful and wonderful path of helping other people to improve and to get healthy. So I really appreciate this opportunity, Dr. George, to be here, to just talk. I just get so excited.
I love your energy so much. You got me all excited too. So just to get started, I mean, we definitely love, eating plant foods, but what was like one of the first impacts, or, do you consider yourself like vegan? And, what were some of those first impacts or changes you saw in your own health when you started making these changes?
Well, I was a part of the resistant group, if I could say that. I was really sick. I was dealing with some health challenges coming out of the Air Force. Life was great. And then I woke up one day and life wasn't great because I gained 236 pounds. Do you know what that looked like, what that feel like, what that does to your psyche? For someone like me, I was very small, 160, 170 pounds, and then to be diagnosed with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetic. I was trying so many things. I was that person that would sit up in the wee hours of the morning looking at infomercials like, come on, I know you all can do it. I know you can find that. Come on, give me that magic pill. I know it's out there. We went to the moon, didn't we? Come on, I know we can find that pill, right? And so I tried many things, and I'm never, ever, ever going to bash any company, or I don't do that. That's not necessary. It just didn't work for me. I was losing weight. I was gaining weight. I was just yo-yoing. I was not in a good state. And so I had heard about a plant-based lifestyle, and I was, what can I say, a little hesitant. And I was hesitant because of many reasons. So if you want to ask me about some of the reasons, I would tell you. So I'm not going to go into that. But I was very hesitant. But I will say one of the reasons why, because I didn't understand it. I didn't know, what was my role, what was going to be my responsibility, what did I have to do? So I really didn't understand it. So I dove right into it, you know, a little hesitant. I started little baby steps, made a lot of mistakes along the way. And I'm kind of glad that I did, if I could say that, because I learned some valuable lessons that I'm able to apply when I'm talking to clients today. And so it's been, since this journey started, it's been over 9 years. And I'm just excited. So, and when you hear the hesitation in my voice, because sometimes you might hear me say, oh, I'm a vegan. And then the next day I might say, I'm plant-based. And then I might say, I'm whole food plant-based. Or as Dr. Furman, I think he has, what is it called? Nutarian or something like that. You know, I'm eating 60% vegetables or something like that. So it was the terminology. So really, I just say, you know, I do say I'm a vegan, but I tread a little lightly because everybody, you know, might not fully understand that. But at the end of the day, what I'm basically saying is I don't exploit animals. I don't eat animals. I don't eat meat. I don't eat the flesh. I don't consume any animal byproducts, no eggs, no milk or cheese. And guess what? I know where my protein is coming from.
Yep. So was this like, were you hardcore? You said you were part of the resistant group, or, you know, the group that maybe didn't understand as much about plant-based eating. Was this like, were you like hardcore carnivore, eating like, you know, meats and avoiding, you know, doing those low carb diets? And, you know, was it like kind of going towards that direction, more on that end of the spectrum, and then you sort of jumped and made that change? Or how was it for you?
Well, I will tell you, it's really surprising how it all came to be. So I'm from Arkansas, and meat is like you in a sentence. It's understood sometimes. It's like, we're not going to talk about that. There's no such thing as not eating meat. You are supposed to. It's on the plate. My grandmother ate it, my great grandmother ate it, my dad, all of these people. So we're not going to talk about that. I have 4 brothers. One of my brothers went to college, went off to college. And even to this day, I still think about, he had come home one day, and I used to really enjoy when he would come home, like, oh, what is he going to tell me about college? You know, I can't wait for my turn and all of this kind of stuff. On this one particular time when he came home, he didn't look the same. He had dreads in his hair. I did notice his skin was really kind of nice. And he came to tell me to stop eating meat. He's like, Brenda, listen, I have something to tell you. You need to stop eating that meat. And I'm just like, because I just adored him and admired him. And I'm just sitting there looking at my brother. And in my mind, you know, he's telling me, and all these things that are going to happen and what's coming up in the world. And I'm sitting there, and in my mind, I'm like trying really hard to concentrate and listen to what he said. But I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to go to that college. What are they doing to my brother? What have they done to my brother? He's changing. Why is he telling me not to do that? So I couldn't make the connection. So it was kind of like, I kind of pushed it way back in my memory. I didn't want to even think about it. It was like a nightmare at the time. And so I didn't even want to talk to him anymore. I kept clear of that subject. And it's been over 40 some years for him. He's still on that same path. So even when I started having my health challenges, I still like, no, you know, it's just too many diets out there. It's too much that's going on. And I know that I can find what works for me. And like I said, I tried any and everything, you name it. Ooh, you name it. Even some of the newer ones that's on the market, I tried it. But, you know, I had to have one of those serious conversations with myself because I had to really pay attention to what was happening around me. Here I was, a young lady, gained over 70 some pounds, diagnosed with high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I even had to think about my grandmother, who I never got the opportunity to meet. And the reason why is because my grandmother died of breast cancer. I never got the chance to meet her. And then I watched other family members die of cancer. And so when I was diagnosed with even the high blood pressure and the high cholesterol, I was very scared. And so I knew that I needed to make a change. So I just had to take that deep breath and say, you know what? It's not going to hurt me to eat that salad because I had eaten a salad before, especially, you know, you eat a salad before the entree. Of course I had, but never thought that I would eat a salad without the entree, which had a lot of animal products on it. So, you know, I had to have one of those conversations with myself. And so that's what really got me to say, okay, you know, I have to do this for my health. You know, I'm a mother of two, and I want to sit around one day and talk to my children about things. You know, I don't want my children to visit my grave an early grave. I want, you know, and so that was one of those heart to heart conversations I had to have with myself. So I kind of eased into it that way. And I'm here to tell you, Dr. George, it has made all the difference. It really has.
I bet. I mean, I can just see the energy. So I know for sure. It's, do you mind me asking how old you were when that first diagnosis, or when you first started, like, gaining the really, a lot of weight, and those diagnoses maybe started getting worse?
Well, so that was I was in my early, right at 40.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was trying. And another thing, when I was diagnosed, you know, that was one of the things that came to mind. I'm too young. I'm too young, you know. I still want to play basketball. So for those of you all that don't know, I'm a tomboy, so I love sports. Okay, so come on, let's play. Um, so it was like, I'm young, and what was really disappointing to me was the medications. The doctor kept changing my medicine, and because my condition kept getting worse, and I didn't like the way that I was feeling, and it was making me feel, even when I was diagnosed with the, she told me I was pre-diabetic, borderline diabetic, and I was, you know, hey, could you please help me, help me, help me? And she was like, well, I'm gonna prescribe you this, I'm gonna prescribe this to you. And I just wasn't the one to take it. And on this one particular medication, it was in its trial stages, and it was an EpiPen that I would have to give myself shots in my stomach area, you know, with an EpiPen. And me and needles, we don't go well together. And so it was just so heartbreaking for me. And also it was very heartbreaking because I hid it from my family and friends. I didn't want them to know that someone who had come out of the Air Force with all these honors, misfit Air Force, here I am struggling. I'm in a battlefield that was totally unrelated, a battlefield that I really knew nothing about. And so that was some of the things. So I was in my 40s when I was diagnosed.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. But that's so powerful what you just said. You know, there's like almost, unfortunately women and people do feel that, sort of sense of shame or, guilt. And, I was doing what I thought was right, and I'm still having these issues. So that's really powerful. So thank you for sharing that.
Welcome.
So you, of course, are now a certified health coach, and I would love to talk about some, of your patients that maybe had breast cancer and that you've worked with, and, the journeys that they have taken and what you've seen firsthand.
Yes, yes. So I decided to become a health coach because of course, things that happened to me, and I wanted to help other people. And so majority of the time when people come to me, they are already dealing with some type of issues. And so I have a very close friend, and I'm sure she will not mind me sharing her story. And you see me smiling because parts of it was funny, but she had came over to my home totally unannounced. We always, because she knows that, I'm probably, dealing with clients and things like that, or I'm probably not at home. She didn't care. I just heard my doorbell ringing, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. I'm like, oh my goodness, who could that be? And so I tiptoed because I didn't even want anyone to know that I was even behind the door. So I looked, and it was my girlfriend. So I opened up the door, and she was like, oh my God, thanks. I'm so glad that you're home. And I said, okay, calm down. What is it? You want some water? She said, no, I don't want any water. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna need you to calm down. You're scaring me. take a deep breath. So I got her to calm down. And she said, okay. She said, I had a doctor's appointment and I'm sitting there. I had went to the doctor, they ran all these tests on me, and then I had to go back. So I'm sitting there in the chair, and the doctor comes out, and he even had the nerve to smile at me. I said, okay, okay. And while he was smiling, he told me that the test revealed that I have breast cancer. And I said, oh my insides were screaming like, no, but all I could say was, oh my. And she said, you know what, Brenda? While he was talking, all I said was, I'm going straight to Brenda's house. Soon as and he was sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher to me. Wah, 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 wah. I just want to get to Brenda. I cannot believe this. And I said, okay, okay. She said, Brenda, I just want to eat the way that you eat now. Just, give me some food, give me a salad. I've been watching you. I've been thinking about, I know that this will help me. I know that this will help me. And I was like, okay. So we went through that. So we talked about it. She started changing her diet. She was at early stages of breast cancer. And so she didn't lose a breast or anything like that. She did go for the treatment. She decided to go for the treatment. But today, and that was last year, as a matter of fact. And today, she looks really good. She's eating from the garden now, and I'm very happy, but I'm just sad that it had to get to that point. But so when I say, I meet people where they are, and I certainly had to meet her where she was, and it was totally and perfectly okay. But those are the type of clients, and she's one, and that's one of the stories. So she would tell you to this day, yes, I did it, and I just knew. And she would tell you that she knew that what I was doing was a healthier lifestyle, but at the time she just wasn't ready because of her lifestyle and what she was doing with her life. And so that's one of the stories that I deal with. So when I say, again, I want to say something, Dr. George. When I say that I meet people where they are, I want to explain that. So in my world of health coaching, there's a term that we use called bio-individuality. And basically what that means is that what works for you might not work for me, or it is saying that not one diet works for everybody. But and there are some people that will dive a little deeper in that, but for me, I don't dive too deep, and so I just want to be able to explain that to you and those that might be listening. When I say that I'm meeting someone where they are, I'm saying that a majority of my clients are dealing with some type of health issue, and so I know that they probably will not be able to totally adopt my lifestyle, the way that I eat. And in saying that, for an example, I've had a client that, let's use high blood pressure. So I love grapefruits. I love grapefruit. So I know with some of the clients that come to me, and when I look at their charts and look at, even the medicine that they might be taking, they might not be able to eat that grapefruit because of their medication or something like that. So that's what I mean by saying that I'm meeting them where they are. They might not even be someone that might be dealing with a thyroid issue, may not be able to crowd their plate with cruciferous veggies and things like that, the kale, the bok choy, or the cauliflower. So what's working for me might not work for them. So that is what I mean when I am saying bio-individuality.
Yeah, and I love that, meeting people where they are. We can't sort of, kind of give them a goal or an endpoint and then not sort of help them along their journey. Are your bookends kind of like plant-based? Though, just to clarify, I know there's so many, individual diets out there, like the blood type diet, and, individualized that way, but that's, I guess, is that not maybe what you mean, right?
No, what I do is, if they could eat the way that I eat, of course I would, because I do customize their meal plans for them. And I do speak I do speak to them about that. But I also know enough to say that I always, as a health coach, I am not a medical doctor. I praise medical doctors, but I'm not a medical doctor. And I say that to say that I encourage them to go back to their doctors. Never stop taking that medicine that the doctors put them on or anything like that, but at least go and share with the doctor what they are doing, because he or she may say, oh, okay, now that you want to adopt a plant-based lifestyle, okay, then let's look at this a little differently. And so that way, that person's doctor and me, we can kind of somewhat work together to get this person to a point of a much better quality of lifestyle.
Yes, always.
So, but if I could crowd their plate and switch them like that, I would. But let's be realistic, right?
Sure, absolutely. And yes, and there's a lot of actually great resources on pcrm.org that you can take to your physician if they are not, educated enough on plant-based eating and vegetables and the harms of, dairy and saturated fat and meat and all of that. So if you're not sure your doctor really knows that information, there are plenty of resources out there for you to take, and specifically from pcrm.org.
Can I jump in and share something now that you said PCRM? I want to tell you just a quick little story about the Physician Committee for Responsible Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So like I mentioned, I made a lot of mistakes along the way when I first started this lifestyle. So I would get on my laptop or whatever device, and I started Googling, what do these people eat? Where are they getting their protein from? And who are they? What planet? All of these things. And so it's really interesting that this one particular guy kept coming up on my feeds, even when I would go to YouTube. And his name is Dr. Neil Barnard. Ooh. Not Bernard, but Dr. Neil Barnard, right? So yeah. I was like listening to him and I was like, whoa, he might be onto something. I wonder, is he really a real person? And so I became a volunteer with the PCRM. I live in Maryland, and so they are in the DC area. So just out of curiosity, I started going there because I just wanted to get a glimpse of this guy, right? I just wanted to like touch his hand or something and say, oh, I'm healed, because he made so much sense. And so a couple of years ago, so I still do volunteer with them. I'm still there. And so I listened to him a lot, and very good. And what was really amazing that Dr. Barnard did was he started the Barnard Medical Center. And so I do go there, and I was just intrigued to be in a world of medical facility that have these doctors that subscribe, that are doing the same thing. They're, into the plant-based lifestyle. So I really enjoyed that. 2 years ago, I was given the opportunity to go to visit my daughter. At the time, she was living in Germany, and we went to Prague. We drove there, and I went to a restaurant. It was a vegan restaurant. Everywhere I travel now, I'm always looking for a restaurant, plant-based, vegan, you name it. And I go into this restaurant, I think it was called Loving Hut. And I had to go up these stairs, and guess who picture is on the wall? Dr. Neil Barnard's picture was on the wall. And I was like, I have arrived. So just for you mentioning that, so it's a very good organization. I love the work that they do. So thank you for even mentioning that. Yeah. And allowing me to even share the story.
Absolutely. So I love that story. That's awesome. So as far as when you are working with your clients and your patients, as far as stumbling blocks or obstacles, what is some of those first obstacles? Before we came on live, you had mentioned that, you had taken baby steps, but also some of us didn't know what we were doing. We were mixing like sweet potato and putting kale in it and maybe eating it with some ketchup because we didn't know what are those initial stumbling blocks you went through and you've noticed with your clients?
Well, one of the things is I didn't fully understand. I didn't fully know what I was doing. I didn't, one day, Dr. George, you would see me and I would tell you I was vegan. And then you'll see me again, maybe a week or so later, and I would tell you, hey, I'm still vegetarian.
Yeah.
And so someone actually called me out on it. It was like, excuse me, what exactly are you? I'm like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, you say you're vegetarian, then you'll say you're vegan. And in my mind, I was like, I thought vegan was short for vegetarian.
Oh.
So, it's like, And I didn't know. I really didn't know. And so what I get from clients, and they'll say, can I said, okay, we're going to take away, you want to stop eating animal products and stuff like that. And they'll say, what about seafood? And when I first started, I said the same thing. What about seafood? Is it? I don't know, But I will tell you something that I was doing. I was trying to justify trying to eat something that I wanted to eat. That's what I was doing. But still, I was making a lot of mistakes. And then when I said that I would, removing animal byproducts, the egg, the milk, the cheese, the yogurt, and things like that. And so with my clients, I try to, when I take baby steps, I give them that information. Okay, when I say this, this is what I'm saying. No, you cannot have this, and this is what that is. And I even give them some names of food that they might not know that could be another name for milk, or something, or sugar or something like that. So I'm trying to give them as much information so that they don't make some of the same mistakes that I make, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important for us to, share that journey with our, patients and clients, just because, we've been there, right? For those of us who have gone from like our meat heavy standard American diets to this way of eating, like, yeah, we've been there. We've all had our own individual journey, but you have that cognitive dissonance, right? That sense of
Yes.
kind of reasoning it out. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about that, and also, about cravings, because I think that's such an interesting area where, we have this idea of listening to our bodies, and it's not necessarily not doing that. But where do you think some of these cravings, where people feel like, well, I'm craving eggs, so I must need protein, where does that come from?
Yeah, well, that's one of the questions that I get answered. Not answered, but get asked. I don't get asked that so much as I did before. Where am I getting my protein, my calcium, my iron, my zinc? Where am I getting all of these the nutrients that they know that the body needs? And at one point, it got to the point where was I was like, I just knew they were going to ask me. I was like, you know what? How can I answer this question and turn it back on them? That protein question. Hey, Dr. B, where are you getting your protein? And I would say, let's see here. Where does the elephant get the protein? The gorilla. And I would ask them a question. Let me ask you a question. Where are these animals that don't eat animal and they're still alive? Or I would even ask them, what is protein? Because if they're not eating animals, where they're getting their protein and they're still healthy and strong. And how long can you go without eating protein? Does anybody really know? And so when I would turn that light bulb on their head, like, oh yeah, where? And so I would answer it that way. And, hey, I'm getting it from the same, we're getting it from these plants. I'm getting more probably than I ever had by before, when I was going through that animal to get that protein. Notice I said through that animal to get the protein, not understanding, not knowing that I can get all of these from, plant-based foods, my calcium, my iron and zinc and all of that. I would tell you also, to answer your earlier question about the mistakes that I made. You heard me mention, talk about, hey, I'm vegan. And there were times that I would get called out on the carpet. And I'm glad that it did happen to me, because it made me more aware of my surrounding, more aware of the things that was happening in my life. It's very, my transformation phase, I call it. So one time, I'm out doing this speaking engagement, and I'm just talking, and finished my speech and everything, and came off the stage, and this precious lady, I could see her aura. I knew that she didn't mean any harm, and I was glad that she approached me. And when she approached me, she asked me these questions. She said, Dr. Bradley, I really, really enjoyed your speech. I want you to know that I have embraced the lifestyle, and I love what it has done for me. But I just want to know, is that Michael Kors purse leather? Are those shoes leather? Do you have leather in your car? And I just was stunned. Like, the answer was yes at the time. And I needed that because it put me in a whole nother world. And I really appreciated that because I would easily tell you, oh, I don't exploit animals. But I was wrong because there I was, you know, wearing, and handling, animal products. So I kind of felt bad, and I'm glad that she didn't approach me before I went on stage. So became very mindful of that. So I also became very mindful of when I told you I meet people where they are and understanding them. So when they would come to me asking me questions, I would put myself in their shoes because I was there before. When they would ask me, about these cravings, I surely had cravings. And whenever I would have cravings, at the time when I first started, I did have the cravings, but I knew that, let me drink some water or let me do this because I was so determined. And then what I started doing was if I knew that even though I didn't crave eggs, I'm going to use eggs for example. Let's say that if I wanted eggs, I would go and Google or try to look up something in one of the books to say, what can I replace in the place of that egg? What could give me that same satisfaction of that egg or something like that? And what that caused me to do was build what I called a remove and replace chart. So I started, writing things and making up a chart. Okay, if you're craving this food, then try this food right here. And then I kind of, dive a little deeper with them, understanding, why the body have such cravings. And that is because the body is saying, something is missing, or something that the body has been so used to having and it wants it again, So it's like you have to train it and you have to say no, just like when you're training your children. You have to say no because you want what's in the best interest of the child. So even with those of us that change our lifestyle, we have to even hit ourselves on the hand and say no, no, no. And understand that that's not what we want to go. We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forward. And I guaranteed you that those cravings will definitely go away. Now, when I have a craving, it's amazing. And I love the cravings that I have. Even this morning when I woke up, I craved carrots. Who craves carrots for breakfast, right? And I just love that. But I know that, again, when the body is craving, it's missing something. It wants something. And so we just learn to remove and replace with much healthier options.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. I mean, there's two parts to our brain sometimes, right? There's that, kind of monkey brain or lizard brain, that one that just wants that next like dopamine hit, and wants to like just feel good and happy for the short term. And then there's that like, planning, organizing, like, mature part of your brain that knows that even though you're craving chocolate cake for breakfast, that's not the right decision. So, so yeah, there's definitely cravings that, or, parts of your body we should listen to. But, certainly anybody who has quit cigarettes or smoking will tell you by no means is your brain thinking you need cigarettes in your life, but you will certainly crave them. So that's awesome. So we just have a few more minutes here. So I always like to give everyone a chance to kind of say their final thoughts, that last kind of snippet that you want everybody to get out of this. I think it's been so amazing for you to having, you shared your journey with everyone today. So thank you so much for that. Sometimes those diagnoses give us an opportunity to reflect. And, some of the patients I've heard from in the past, it's almost like these diagnoses were a blessing in disguise. I mean, it's so tragic to hear those words, especially something like, breast cancer, diabetes, or anything like that. But, when it kind of makes you step back and say, okay, well, what should I do now that I know this? And I've heard so many amazing turnaround stories. And, I just thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You are welcome. It has definitely been my pleasure. And I want those that are listening and tuning in to this call or this event here. I want to say that ask questions, never stop asking, become curious, ask the whys, always, why this, and kind of like, when it comes to your health, it's okay to take matters in your own hand. That what I mean by that, don't stop going to your doctor or anything like that, but make the decision, don't leave it solely up to your doctor or solely up to other people. Take ownership. And also, I want you to know that it is okay. Wherever you are right now, it is okay. Don't linger in it. Live in the now, live right now. Yesterday is gone. It really is. I promise you, it's gone. The future is over there. We can't even control that either. But what we can do, we can live in the present. We can live in the now. So give yourself that credit, give yourself that hug. Tell yourself it is going to be okay. You are going to be okay. When you adopt a lifestyle such as a plant-based, I want you to think about this. Mother Earth. These plants are coming from Mother Earth. Mother Earth has given us, life, has given us water, has given us food, our health, has given us. And if we just embrace her and just take her by, I can't say hand, can I? And we just embrace her and take in these wonderful gifts that she has given, it will make a difference in your life. When you learn the power of allowing food to be your medicine and not your poison, you will be in a position not only to help yourself, but to see other things around you, to be able to see. When I talk about animals, I never thought that I would ever even look at a snake. I used to be so afraid of snakes. Never thought that I would one day look at a snake and say, oh my goodness, you're beautiful. Look at you. Please don't come in my house though, but you're beautiful. But I'm saying that to say that years and years ago, my heart was just beating. And today, and even 9 years ago when it all started for me, my heart is wide awake. I can truly see the beauty in us all as human beings. So I just want to encourage you, if you want to start this journey, take baby steps if you must, but you can do it. You can do it. So again, Dr. George, I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity to come on here and to say what I had to say and to share with everyone. And again, we can do this. We can become our greatest version. We truly can.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for spending all this time with us and giving us a little piece of you and your energy. I honestly think people could just watch you on mute and get something out of it. You're so bubbly and vivacious, and we love you. And thank you so much for this inspiring.
Pleasure.
Oh, yeah. So for our viewers, we thank you for joining this wonderful summit. Please check out Dr. Brenda's Bradley's awesome bio. And actually, Dr. Bradley, if you could tell everyone where they can reach you to or find more information on you.
Sure. Oh, yes. You can reach me. You can visit me on my website. My website is drbtbradley.com. Now, you have to put that www, I think, in front. So, that's DRBT Bradley, BRADLEY.com. You can reach me there. I'm on Instagram. You can reach me at DocBrad, DOCBRAD 67 on Instagram. You can also reach me on Twitter. But you have to put in my entire name, and that is Brenda Bradley. That's all you have to say is Brenda Bradley, and that will come up as well. So I'm really hoping that I could definitely hear from someone. I would love to hear from you all. And you can reach me if you go to my website. There's a contact, and you can reach me that way. And guess what? I respond, not any admin person or anybody like that. I personally respond to everyone. So I look forward to hearing from others.
Yeah,
Thank you.
really, sure. Well, everyone take advantage of that one-on-one contact, right? So needed right now these days for sure. So thank you everyone for joining this wonderful summit. Do check out all these wonderful interviews I've been so lucky to be a part of, and we've been so lucky to have everybody here together. So we hope you all have a wonderful day and hope you've gotten some great advice to live your most radiant life and to get your most radiant health back.
Yes.
Take care.